To me, it's frontline supervisors, and that's your principals. And your principal, that's their school. We got 176 schools. There's no superintendent, there's no board member can go to all these schools and figure out how to affect you. That principal knows, but it has to be an evaluation based on fact. What do you do, how you doing, improve it. It can't be because you like somebody and in the politics and you got people talk. When I first got introduced to this in the 80s, when I was a young corporation, and we first started this in the early 80s, it was so great because I could see all the people that have been politicking for all those years and getting promotions have to be accountable. And guess what? Pretty soon they started falling to the wayside. And the top performers started pulling up. And you could see because they had it print what they were doing. So it has to be the principal and the relationship. Now there's nothing wrong with an AIM clerk or somebody above that. You know, there's 2 or 3 levels of evaluation. Same with the military. You know, we got a frontline supervisor, you got another commander, you got an endorsement official, and a general officer. And all 3 of them got to kind of have to agree. Because one may have some problems with the employee, but the other 2 see something that the frontline supervisor doesn't see.
So should teacher pay be linked to those evaluations?
Well, based on the pay system, you know, based on the pay system, based on North Carolina, and based on what you see in Wisconsin and all these other places, you know, we have a, you know, the state pay scale for everybody. I think the school board, House member from going to Raleigh and stand on it is like $14,000. To me, the pay scale, the different seniority and stuff, you know, you get paid to do your job. That is your performance. Now, along the way, if you take one of these schools downtown and you do something great with it, then yes, I think you need some special, I don't like the word bonus, additional pay, incentive pay. I noticed Rick Perry came out and talked about how great Texas was. I go online and Google it. Fort Worth pulled out of the district because they went back to similar some of this stuff here. They said the school needs to be, it's not good for our district because it creates conflict amongst the teachers, amongst staff. We're a team. I couldn't take a team of 25 soldiers, and I've done this all over the world. They get paid to do their job based on their rank and their skill levels. They don't get a bonus. They do their job, they come home. Now they get recognitions, awards and debts and stuff like that. That goes eventually towards their promotion. So they get rewarded through an evaluation system. When it comes time to promote, then they look at that and that moves you up the scale.
So you wouldn't I'm not sure, I think I'm hearing you say you wouldn't undo the sort of longevity, the basic pay scale.
Well, that's state law. I mean, I think once you go into that, then you go into all those other agencies in the state government.
Well, CMS, there's a bill
right
in front of the legislature now to release CMS from the state pay scale.
That I understand the Senate's already resisting that because they realize once you do one, then you have other people coming from state government, and pretty soon you got total disorganization, and then you get into and if you don't do this, and you don't hold people accountable to proper measurements, then you really get into a situation.
So you would not support that?
No, I can't. Well, if the state representative General Assembly comes up and shows a good reason why that should be done, everybody should have their own empowerment to do that. I don't think there's any reason now. It's like paying the Navy one thing. The Navy SEALs gets paid the same as the Air Force Pararescue man. You know, just because they're out there in publicity now don't mean that they get better pay than these Air Force and Coast Guard and all these other people who do that job. So you got to be, you have to be real careful when you start dealing with a pay change that goes that distance. So that, and longevity is still, that's in place, because in most every place that the longer you work and do your job, you get some benefit for longevity.
Now, in strategic staffing schools, the principal is brought in and they get a pay bump for 3 years or a bonus after 3 years, and 5, give or take, teachers that are hand selected also get that pay bump, and they're working side by side with other teachers in the school who had been in the school or who hired in new who don't get that bonus. How do you feel about that?
It's going to increase the morale problem real fast. First, they're outsiders coming in. Second, they're getting paid more money. You know, they can't do that. I mean, they need to come in as a team, and if the whole school moves forward as a team, then they may get something in a leadership position. But when you bring it in like that, and people don't understand, a lot of people don't understand morale. When you make a decision, you have to really understand what it's going to do to your morale. And you might be right, but you'll be dead wrong when it goes into for real interaction if you can't keep your morale. I spent more time on morale of my troops than I did actually get the mission done. Because you had to move the dynamics in that direction.